Assalamu alaikum. First of all, we have to know what are viruses. Viruses, they are obligate intracellular parasites. What is meant by obligate? Obligate mean that they cannot survive without their host. If we see the differences between bacteria and viruses, viruses they do not have a cell membrane and cell wall, while bacteria they have cell membrane as well as cell wall. So viruses they are dependent upon their host for their metabolic needs and for their replication. They cannot survive without the help of their host. This is the diagram showing various steps of viral replication, and also shown in this diagram are the drugs that can inhibit various steps of viral replication. You can see, first of all, there is viral attachment and entry, then there is penetration, then uncoating, early protein synthesis, nucleic acid synthesis, integration into genome, late protein synthesis, packing and assembly, and finally there is release of viruses to infect the other cells. As you can see, viral attachment and entry, it is blocked by enfortite, docacinol and pembrolizumab. Also, viral attachment is blocked by rimantidine and amantadine drugs, which are adamantine derivatives. Then penetration can be blocked by interferon alpha, which is present in hepatitis B virus and hepatitis C virus. Then there are drugs that can inhibit the nucleic acid synthesis. For example, nucleoside and non-nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitors that are present in the hepatitis B virus and HIV viruses. They inhibit the nucleic acid synthesis. Similarly, acyclovir, which is present in the herpes simplex virus, and foscarnet drug, which is inhibitor of this nucleic acid synthesis in cytomegalovirus. Then integration into the genome is inhibited by integrase inhibitors like raltegravir. Then late protein synthesis and processing, it is blocked by protease inhibitor, which is present in HIV and also in HCV, which is hepatitis C virus. Then we can see that viral release is inhibited by neuraminidase inhibitors. What is neuraminidase? It is an enzyme which is blocked by certain drugs. We can see it later on. Now, antiviral drugs, they can be classified in various ways. First of all, we can see that they are classified according to their site of action. First of all, there are drugs that can block the adsorption and penetration of viruses. For example, enfortite, docacinol, pembrolizumab, interferon alpha, and gamma globulins. Then are the drugs that block uncoating of viruses like amantadine and rimantadine. Then drugs that interfere with the early protein synthesis are formovirsin. Then drugs that interfere with the nucleic acid synthesis are purine and pyrimidine analogs like reverse transcriptase inhibitors. Then DNA polymerase inhibitors drugs involve acyclovir and ganciclovir. These drugs, they are effective against herpes simplex viruses 1, herpes simplex viruses 2, and varicella zoster virus. DNA polymerase inhibitors. Structural protein inhibitors are methazone and protease inhibitor. Then packing and assembly release inhibitor drugs are zanamivir or seltamivir. They are blockers of an enzyme which is called neuraminidase. Then there is another way to classify the drugs according to their spectrum. For example, against herpes simplex virus 1 and 2 and varicella zoster virus infections, there are drugs like acyclovir, penciclovir, docacinol, valaciclovir and famciclovir. These all drugs, they are inhibitors of herpes simplex virus 1, herpes simplex virus 2 and varicella zoster virus infections. Then against cytomegaloviruses are ganciclovir, foscarnet, valganciclovir, cidofovir and fomipizole. Now we come to the drugs that are effective in treatment of HIV/AIDS, that is acquired immunodeficient syndrome. There are 5 classes of drugs or 5 groups of drugs that are effective in treatment of AIDS. First of all, nucleoside and nucleotide reverse transcriptase inhibitors, and the prototype drug of this group is zidovudine. Then are drugs like didanosine, zelcetabine, cetovudine, lamivudine, abacavir, emtricitabine and tenofovir. These all drugs, they are inhibitors of nucleoside and nucleotide reverse transcriptase enzyme. Then second group is non-nucleoside reverse transcriptase inhibitors. These include nevirapine, dilavudine and efavirenz. Then third group is of protease inhibitors, and the fourth and fifth group are entry inhibitors and integrase inhibitors. We will see them later on. Then against influenza A and influenza B are imantidine, zanamivir and oseltamivir. Then against influenza H5N1, that is bird flu, there is a drug which is called Tamiflu. Tamiflu, it is a vaccine that is effective against influenza, that is bird flu virus. Then for treatment of hepatitis B virus infection, we have interferon alpha 2A and pegylated interferon alpha 2B, then lamivudine, adofovir and entecavir. For HCV infection, we now have multiple of drugs. Along with interferons, we have ribavirin, then sofosbuvir, declatasvir and many other drugs. We will see them in treatment of hepatitis C virus. That against respiratory syncytial viruses and Lassa fibers are ribavirin, against picornavirus are plecorenal, and against papillomavirus interferon alpha is given. Now first of all, we come to the treatment of respiratory virus infections. As you all know, respiratory viruses, they include influenza A, influenza B and respiratory syncytial viruses. Against influenza A, immunization is the preferred choice. However, antiviral drugs can be given to the patient. There are certain conditions when antiviral drugs are given. For example, when the patient is allergic to the vaccine, then we can give antiviral drug. Or when the outbreak is due to immunological variant of the virus which is not covered by the vaccine, then we can also give this antiviral drugs. Or when outbreak occurs among unvaccinated individuals, for example, individuals who work in nursing care or in closed settings. First of all, we have drugs which are called neuraminidase inhibitors. These drugs, they are inhibitors of viral release. These drugs include oseltamivir and zanamivir. Now, what is their mode of action? These drugs inhibit this virus, which is neuraminidase, and they prevent the release of new virons and their spread from one cell to the another. Both these drugs, they are effective against type A and type B influenza viruses. Now we come to the adverse effect of these drugs. The most common side effects related with oseltamivir are GI upset. For example, they cause nausea, vomiting and gastrointestinal irritation. These side effects, they can be decreased by taking the drug with food. If we take the drug with the food, the GI related side effects, they can be minimized. Zanamivir is not associated with GI upset because it is administered directly to the airways. However, because its route of administration is respiratory, so irritation of the respiratory tract can occur. So zanamivir, it should be used with caution in patients who are asthmatics or who have chronic obstructive pulmonary disease. The second groups are inhibitors of viral uncoating. These drugs, they are adamantine derivatives. There are two adamantine derivatives that are amantadine and rimantadine. Both amantadine and rimantadine, their spectrum is limited against influenza A infection, but they do not cover the infection which are caused by influenza B. They are equally effective both in treatment as well as in prevention of disease. For example, these drugs, they are 70 to 90% effective in preventive infection if treatment is begun at the time of or prior to exposure of the virus. Then if there is infection and these drugs are given, then they reduce the duration as well as severity of systemic symptoms if they are started within first 48 hours after exposure to the viruses. So in this way they are effective both in treatment as well as in prevention of the disease. They do not impair the immune response to influenza A vaccine. So they can be given along with vaccine, because as you all know, from the vaccine about 2 weeks they are required for formation of antibodies, and if we start these drugs, antiviral drugs, then they can give protection to the patient from the very first day, because vaccine, it provides immunity after 2 weeks. Amantadine, it is also effective in other diseases. For example, it is used in treatment of Parkinson disease. Now we come to the mode of action of amantadine and rimantadine. Their major mechanism of action is to block the viral membrane matrix protein M2. They block the matrix protein M2. Now we come to know what is the function of this M2 protein. This M2 matrix protein, it functions as a channel for hydrogen ion. This channel is required for the fusion of viral membrane with the cell membrane that ultimately forms the endosome. So matrix protein, it is required for union of host membrane and viral membrane, and there is formation of endosome. Through this channel, hydrogen ions, they come inside, they form the environment of the endosome acidic, and in this way there is union of viral membrane and host cell membrane. When this matrix protein M2 it is blocked, hydrogen ions, they cannot move into the endosome, so there is no acidic environment. When there is no acidic environment, there is no union of host cell membrane and viral membrane. These drugs, they may also interfere with the release of new virons. Now we come to the side effects of these drugs. Side effects, they are mainly related with the central nervous systems. For example, minor neurological symptoms, they may include insomnia, dizziness and ataxia. Insomnia means कि पेशेंट कहेगा कि मुझे नींद नहीं आ रही. डिजीनेस मीन्स पेशेंट को चक्कर आना शुरू हो जाएंगे. और एटेक्सिया इज अ गेट एबनॉर्मेलिटी. अगर हम पेशेंट को कहे कि एक स्ट्रेट लाइन में चलना शुरू करे तो वो चलना, तो उसके लिए चलना एक सीधी लाइन में मुश्किल हो जाएगा, स्टैगरिंग गेट हो जाएगा. अगर हम मोर सीरियस साइड इफेक्ट्स की बात करें, दे मे इंक्लूड हेलुसिनेशंस एंड सीजर्स. सीजर्स का आपको पहले ही पता है. सीजर्स क्या होते हैं? इस तरह झटके पेशेंट को लगते हैं एपिलेप्सी के, मिर्गी के. दीज आर सीजर्स. एंड व्हाट आर हेलुसिनेशन? हेलुसिनेशंस, दे आर ऑफ टू टाइप, विजुअल एंड ऑडिटरी. विजुअल में पेशेंट कहेगा कि मुझे जिस तरह वो परियों की, जिन्नों की कहानियाँ होती हैं कि मुझे जिन नज़र आ रहे हैं, परियां नज़र आ रही हैं. और ऑडिटरी, पेशेंट के कान में मुख्तलिफ आवाज़ें आना शुरू हो जाएंगी कि मुझे फ़लाँ ने ऐसे कहा है, फ़लाँ ने ऐसे कहा कि तुम ये काम करो, वो काम करो. सो दीज आर हेलुसिनेशन. What are the contraindications of these drugs? These drugs, they should be taken with care in patient with psychiatric problems, cerebral atherosclerosis, or renal impairment and epilepsy. Rimetidine, it causes few CNS effects because it does not cross the blood-brain barrier. Both drugs, they may cause GI upset. Amantadine and rimetidine should be used in caution during pregnancy because they are teratogenic. Now we come to the ribavirin. Ribavirin, it is a synthetic guanosine analog. It is effective against a broad range of RNA and DNA viruses. For example, ribavirin is used in treatment of respiratory syncytial virus infections. Then it is also effective in treatment of chronic hepatitis C. Then ribavirin also reduces the mortality and viremia of Lassa fever. Now we come to the mode of action of ribavirin. कि ribavirin एक्ट कैसे करती है. हम देखेंगे कि मोस्टली एंटीवायरल ड्रग जो भी एक्ट करेंगी, फर्स्ट दे आर कन्वर्टेड टू द ट्राइफॉस्फेट कंपाउंड. व्हेन दिस ट्राइफॉस्फेट कंपाउंड इज फॉर्म्ड, it interferes with the DNA synthesis. Similarly, ribavirin, first it is converted into the ribavirin triphosphate, which exerts its antiviral action by inhibit the guanosine triphosphate formation, preventing viral messenger RNA capping and blocking the RNA dependent RNA polymerase. Because rhinoviruses and enteroviruses, they contain preformed messenger RNA, they are relatively resistant to the action of ribavirin, क्योंकि उनके पास पहले से बना बनाया messenger RNA होता है. Now we come to the side effects of this ribavirins. Side effects reported for oral or parenteral use of ribavirin, they are dose dependent transient anemia, हीमोग्लोबिन की फॉर्मेशन को कम कर दी है, अनीमिया काज करती है. देन जो बिलीरुबिन है उसका लेवल रेज हो सकता है. एंड दिस ड्रग इट इज आल्सो teratogenic, so it should better be avoided during pregnancy. Now we come to the treatment of hepatic viral infections. आपको पता है हमारे सेटअप में हेपेटाइटिस सी बहुत ज़्यादा कॉमन है. देन जो सेकंड नंबर पे हेपेटाइटिस है दैट इज हेपेटाइटिस बी. बोथ हेपेटाइटिस बी एंड हेपेटाइटिस सी दे आर कॉमन causes of chronic hepatitis, cirrhosis and hepatocellular carcinoma. First of all, we will discuss the treatment of chronic hepatitis B. Chronic hepatitis B, it is usually treated with pegylated interferon alpha 2A. Pegylated interferon alpha 2A, it is given subcutaneously once weekly, or interferon alpha 2B, which can be given intramuscularly or subcutaneously 3 times weekly. It is also effective in treatment of hepatitis B infection. Now we come to the oral treatment of chronic hepatitis B infection. Oral therapy includes lamivudine, adofovir and entecavir. Combination therapy of an interferon plus lamivudine is no more effective than monotherapy with lamivudine. Patients who have acquired immunodeficiency syndrome and who are co-infected with hepatitis B, they are usually poor responders to interferon therapy. Now we come to the interferons. के interferons क्या होते हैं? Interferons, it is a family of inducible glycoproteins which are present naturally and they interfere with the ability of viruses to infect the cells. Although interferon inhibits the growth of many viruses in vitro, its activity in vivo against viruses has been disappointing. इन विट्रो मीन्स आउटसाइड द बॉडी. जैसा कि हम लेबोरेटरी में काम करते हैं, लेबोरेटरी में हम जब वायरसेस के अगेंस्ट इंटरफेरॉन के एक्शन देखते हैं तो वो बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग होता है, इनकी किलर एबिलिटी बहुत ज़्यादा होती है. लेकिन जब हम इंटेक्ट इंडिविजुअल में होस्ट में या डिजीज़ मॉडल बना के पेशेंट में देखते हैं तो जो इंटरफेरॉन्स होते हैं इनकी एक्टिविटी इन विवो इतनी ज़्यादा नहीं होती. Interferon, they are synthesized by recombinant DNA technology, and at least there are 3 types of interferon. For example, interferon alpha, beta and interferon alpha 2B has been approved for treatment of chronic hepatitis B as well as chronic hepatitis C infection along with condyloma acuminata and certain cancers such as hairy cell leukemia and Kaposi sarcoma. Now, what are pegylated formulations? In so-called pegylated formulations, a side chain which is called bis monomethoxy polyethylene glycol, it is attached covalently to either interferon alpha 2A or alpha 2B to increase the size of the molecule. अब जब साइज मॉलिक्यूल का ज़्यादा हो जाता है तो उसका फ़ायदा क्या होता है? उसके 3 फायदे होते हैं. फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल, इट डिलेज द एब्जॉर्प्शन ऑफ द ड्रग फ्रॉम द इंजेक्शन साइट. इट लेंथन्स द ड्यूरेशन ऑफ एक्शन ऑफ दैट ड्रग. देन इट आल्सो डिक्रीजेस द क्लियरेंस ऑफ दैट ड्रग्स. सो इन दिस वे द डोजिंग इंटरवल ऑफ दैट ड्रग इट इज These are the clinical uses of interferon alpha, interferon beta and interferon gamma. You can see interferon alpha, it is used in treatment of chronic hepatitis B as well as C infections. Then certain genital warts which are caused by papillomaviruses. Then hairy cell leukemia and CML. Along with Kaposi sarcoma. These all are the clinical uses of interferon alpha. Then interferon beta, it is used in treatment of relapsing and remitting multiple sclerosis and interferon gamma, it is used in chronic granulomatous disease. Now we come to the mode of action of interferons. Interferon, they inhibit the viral RNA translation, so ultimately they leads to the degradation of viral messenger RNA and transfer RNA. Now we come to the side effects of interferons. Side effect, they may include certain flu-like symptoms such as fevers, chills, myalgia, मेन के पेशेंट के अगर मेरे जिस्म में दर्दें हो रही हैं, आर्थराल्जिया, जोड़ों में दर्द शुरू हो जाता है, एंड जीआई अपसेट. Then fatigue and mental depression, they are also very common with these interferons. However, these symptoms subside with subsequent administration. जब आप पेशेंट को शुरू में इंटरफेरॉन के इंजेक्शन लगाते हैं तो उसमें ये सिम्टम्स ज़्यादा होती हैं, सीवियर होती हैं, बट जैसे जैसे टाइम गुजरता है, विद पैसेज ऑफ टाइम दीज सिम्टम्स दे डू डिक्रीज विद पैसेज ऑफ टाइम. However, the principal dose limiting toxicity, they are bone marrow suppression. Bone marrow को इफेक्ट करती है and it causes granulocytopenia. What is meant by granulocytopenia? कि हमारे जो WBCs होते हैं, ग्रेनुलोसाइट्स होते हैं, न्यूट्रोफिल्स, बेसोफिल्स, इओसिनोफिल्स, उनकी काउंट को ये कम कर देते हैं. WBC हमारे कम हो जाती हैं, जिसकी वजह से पेशेंट मे बिकम प्रोन टू द इन्फेक्शंस. देन इट आल्सो कॉजेज न्यूरोटॉक्सिसिटी. Neurotoxicity is characterized by somnolence and certain behavioral changes along with severe fatigue and weight loss. Now we come to the lamivudine. It is a cytosine analog which is inhibitor of both hepatitis B virus DNA polymerase and HIV reverse transcriptase. Lamivudine, it must be phosphorylated by host cellular enzyme to the triphosphate compound. इस तरह मैंने आपको पहले बताया कि मोस्टली एंटीवायरल ड्रग उनको अपना एक्शन शो करने के लिए फर्स्ट ट्राइफॉस्फेट कंपाउंड में कन्वर्ट होना पड़ता है. जब ट्राइफॉस्फेट कंपाउंड बन जाता है, इट इंटरफेयर्स विद द डीएनए फॉर्मेशन. दिस कंपाउंड इट competitively inhibits hepatitis B virus DNA polymerase at concentration that have negligible effects on host cell DNA polymerase. ठीक है, जो वायरल का DNA polymerase है उस पर इसका इफेक्ट ज़्यादा होता है, लेकिन जो होस्ट DNA polymerase है उस पर इसका इफेक्ट इतना ज़्यादा नहीं होता. The intracellular half-life of triphosphate, it is many hours longer than its plasma half-life. जब सेल के अंदर ट्राइफॉस्फेट कंपाउंड होता है तो इसकी जो हाफ लाइफ होती है वो बहुत ज़्यादा होती है एज कम्पेयर टू इट्स प्लाज्मा हाफ लाइफ. दैट्स वे कि इसकी हमें इनफ्रीक्वेंट डोजिंग देनी पड़ती है बिकॉज ऑफ लॉन्गर हाफ लाइफ. जब हम पेशेंट को ट्रीटमेंट स्टार्ट करवा देते हैं तो ट्रीटमेंट के बाद जब हम पेशेंट की बायोकेमिकल मार्कर चेक करते हैं, विद पैसेज ऑफ टाइम देयर इज डिक्रीज प्लाज्मा डीएनए लेवल, इम्प्रूव्ड बायोकेमिकल मार्कर्स एंड रिड्यूस्ड हिपैटिक इन्फ्लेमेशन. अब जो हिपैटिक इन्फ्लेमेशन का लिवर का जो मार्कर है दैट इज SGPT. SGPT जब हम पेशेंट को ट्रीटमेंट के बाद देखना शुरू करते हैं तो डिजीज़ के टाइम पे ट्रीटमेंट स्टार्ट करवाने से पहले SGPT का लेवल ज़्यादा होगा. विद पैसेज ऑफ टाइम SGPT और ALTs का लेवल टुवर्ड्स नॉर्मल होना शुरू हो जाएगा. लेमिविदीन, इट इज़ वेल एब्जॉर्ब ओरली. प्लाज्मा हाफ लाइफ इसकी अबाउट 9 आवर्स होती है और इसके जो साइड इफेक्ट्स होते हैं मोस्टली इट इज़ वेल टॉलरेटेड विद रेयर अकरेंस ऑफ हेडेक हो सकता है या पेशेंट को चक्कर आ सकते हैं. Now we come to the entecavir. Entecavir, it is a guanosine analog which is approved for treatment of hepatitis B virus infections. Following intracellular phosphorylation to the triphosphate compound, it competes with the natural substrate that is deoxyguanosine triphosphate. deoxyguanosine triphosphate के साथ ये compete करता है और DNA formation को कम करता है. Entecavir, it is shown to be effective against lamivudine resistant strains of hepatitis B virus. जिन लोगों को रेजिस्टेंस है अगेंस्ट लेमोविदिन, उनके अगेंस्ट भी एंटाकवीर बहुत ज़्यादा इफेक्टिव है. इट इज़ गिवन वंस अ डे एंड इट अंडरगोज बोथ ग्लोमेरुलर फिल्ट्रेशन एंड ट्यूबुलर secretion. Then there is another drug which is adofovir. Adofovir, it is a nucleotide analog that is phosphorylated to adofovir diphosphate. मोस्टली जो ड्रग्स होती हैं वो ट्राइफॉस्फेट कंपाउंड में कन्वर्ट होती हैं, जबकि जो एडोफोविर है इट इज़ फर्स्ट कन्वर्टेड इनटू द एडोफोविर डाइफॉस्फेट which is then incorporated into the viral DNA, and in this way it causes premature DNA chain termination. एडोफोविर को भी हम वंस डेली देते हैं, एक्सक्रीट जो यूरिन में होती है, और both decrease viral load and improve liver function. They are occurred in patients which are treated with adofovir. अगर इसकी हम एब्रप्ट डिसकंटिन्यूएशन करते हैं एडोफोविर की, तो उससे क्या होता है, अबाउट 25% ऑफ द पेशेंट दे मे एक्सपीरियंस सीवियर एक्सरसेबेशन ऑफ हेपेटाइटिस. सो जब भी हमने इस ड्रग को विड्रॉ कराना है तो स्लोली करवाएंगे, एकदम से नहीं करवाएंगे. ड्रग इंटरेक्शन इसकी बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं होती. एंड एडोफोविर इट शुड बी यूज्ड कॉशियसली इन पेशेंट विद एग्जिस्टिंग रीनल डिसफंक्शन. जिन लोगों के रीनल फंक्शन टेस्ट ऑलरेडी कंप्रोमाइज हैं, रीनल डिजीज़ वाले पेशेंट हैं, तो उनमें इस ड्रग को हमें कॉशियसली लेना चाहिए, कॉशियस यूज करना चाहिए. दिस वाज अबाउट ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ हेपेटाइटिस बी. नाउ वी कम टू द ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ हेपेटाइटिस सी वायरस. इन ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ क्रोनिक हेपेटाइटिस सी देर इज वाइड हिस्ट्री ऑफ ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ क्रोनिक हेपेटाइटिस सी. फर्स्टली हम देखते थे कि पेशेंट को हमें इंटरफेरॉन देने पड़ते थे. पहले सिंपल इंटरफेरॉन्स थे, फिर पैगलेटेड इंटरफेरॉन्स आ गए अलोंग विद रिबावायरिन. उनका ये था, एक तो वो बहुत एक्सपेंसिव ड्रग्स होती थी, इंजेक्शन एक्सपेंसिव होते थे, पेशेंट को बार बार इंजेक्शन लगते थे, ठीक है. साइड इफ़ेक्ट्स भी ज़्यादा थे, पेशेंट की बोझ पे जेब भी ज़्यादा था, और उतने ज़्यादा इफेक्टिव भी नहीं थे. बट विद पैसेज ऑफ टाइम अब जो हमारे पास ड्रग्स हैं दे आर वेरी इफेक्टिव इन ट्रीटमेंट ऑफ क्रोनिक हेपेटाइटिस सी. एक तो इंजेक्टेबल फॉर्म में नहीं है, दूसरे ओरल फॉर्म में है, और अब जो कॉम्बिनेशन बेस्ट हमारे पास अवेलेबल है दैट इज सोफॉस्फोबियोविर विच इज़ 400 मिलीग्राम एंड वेलपाइरेटेस्पिर 100 मिलीग्राम. ये कॉम्बिनेशन में अवेलेबल है, और इसकी जो कॉस्ट है दैट इज़ अबाउट 5500 to 6000 फॉर 28 टैबलेट्स. ठीक है, 3 मंथ्स की ट्रीटमेंट होती है. डेली पेशेंट ने एक टैबलेट लेनी होती है, और अबाउट 3 मंथ्स में जो पेशेंट का खर्चा आता है टोटल ट्रीटमेंट का अबाउट 18 to 20,000, और उसको इंजेक्शन भी नहीं लगाने पड़ते. पीसीआर जब हम पेशेंट का शुरू में करवाते हैं, क्वालिटेटिव और क्वांटिटेटिव, वो एक्टिव होता है. 3 मंथ्स के बाद जब हम पेशेंट का पीसीआर दोबारा से करवाते हैं, पीसीआर नेगेटिव हो जाता है. बेसिकली सोफॉस्फोबियोविर है क्या, इट इज पॉलीमरेज इनहिबिटर्स. इट इनहिबिट द हेपेटाइटिस सी वायरस आरएनए डिपेंडेंट आरएनए पॉलीमरेज. वंस डेली हम इसको देते हैं फूड के साथ या विदाउट फूड. लेकिन जो पेशेंट जीनोटाइप 3 से इफेक्टिव हैं उनमें हमें लॉन्गर ड्यूरेशन ऑफ ट्रीटमेंट रिक्वायर होता है. सोफॉस्फोबियोविर इट इज 61 to 65% बाउंड टू द प्लाज्मा प्रोटीन. जो बाउंड फॉर्म में आपको पता ड्रग होती है वो ड्रग रेजर्वायर के तौर पे एक्ट करती है, और जो फ्री ड्रग होती है वो हमारा एक्शन शो करती है. एलिमिनेशन इज बाय रीनल क्लियरेंस एंड इट इज आल्सो अ सबस्ट्रेट ऑफ पी ग्लाइकोप्रोटीन. साइड इफेक्ट इसके बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं है. कॉमनली रिपोर्टेड साइड इफेक्ट दे आर फटीग एंड